All right. Welcome you guys to our Silver and Beyond call. I am so excited to do this call because I feel like as you start to get people to join you, as you start sharing more, you're really learning the basics of customer care, duplication. And some of you guys are probably thinking, what the heck is duplication? Like, how does that work? Maybe you've heard that term. And if you can, drop what rank you are right now. That way I kind of know. Recording in progress. All right. Gold, 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 gold. Okay, gold, silver. Gotcha, gotcha. Love it. Okay. All right, gold and silver. Okay, so drop a 1 in the comments. How confident do you feel with the follow-up system? When you sign someone up, how confident do you feel with following up with them, helping them through detox, helping them grab a friend? Basically, that is called our onboarding system and our retention, a 6. Okay, awesome. Okay. All right. So right now we are going to dive into from the very, very, very beginning of when you sign an ambassador up. Okay. And so I'm just going to walk through all of this because I feel like it doesn't change from when you're a silver to a sapphire to a diamond. You're going to do the exact same thing that you do now as a silver and a gold that you're going to do at a sapphire and diamond rank. Okay. And these are crucial building blocks for your business. And while I'm explaining this, tell me a little bit about why you're here. What is Plexus doing for you? What is the Plexus income helping you with? What is your why? I would love to get to know you guys a little bit more. And I always feel like that's such a great way to establish why you are going to continue to show up, why you're going to give the best customer service, why you're going to trade in your Netflix shows so you can, focus a little bit more on your business. Some of these trade-offs I feel like are so ample to growth. Okay. So financial freedom to travel. So time flexibility, that I love that. I know I have a travel bug. Brianna loves to travel. And I know that's one of the reasons why we do it. Currently it's paying for my personal supplements and working towards paying off my student loans. Oh my gosh, you sound like me right when I started. That was me. I was like, I want to get my supplements paid for and I want to pay off my student loans because holy cow, no one told me, hey, Andrew, you can't just take out all these loans and not pay them back. I mean, obviously I knew that, but not at 18 and 19. And so, when you start to get into the real world and want to have a family and things, like those are things you have to think about. Supplements and savings, vacation. All right, paying off your products and paying off credit cards. All right, awesome. Okay, so let's dive in. I'm going to start this is going to be so basic, you guys, but if I need basics, I know you guys need basics. And every time we think that we need something more than basics, I want to just let you guys in on a secret. Keep it simple. Always go back to basics. That's what's going to make your business go around. So when you sign someone up, I want you guys to always get on the phone. Drop a 1 in the comment if you are most likely going to get on the phone, or a 2 if you never get on the phone. And let's just be honest, because there is room to grow. That is why we are here. Okay. Erin said 2. She never gets on the phone. Erin, drop in the comments. What do you do if you don't get on the phone? 3. What's 3, Alicia? Is that a little bit of yes, a little bit of no? Okay. So Amanda Panner said 1, but lots of them don't want to. Okay. I'm glad we opened this topic up, you guys, because this is the first foundational building block to making connections. And honestly, that is not a ghost. That is my dog. But honestly, you guys, this, unless they want to, 2, unless they want to. Okay. I'm so glad. Okay. This is great. I love the honesty. I love it because here's the thing. You use Messenger and walk them through it. Okay. Yes. You is trying to help me get on the phone more. All right, you guys, here's the thing. I know when I first started that I was like, okay, I can totally sign them up, like, giving them information, walking them through. Guess what doesn't happen when you don't get on the phone? Anybody have a guess? You do not make that connection. You're not able to talk to them about expectations, the referral link. You're not able to talk to them about, possible detox and die-off symptoms. You're not able to talk to them about the routine and consistency. You're missing a humongous piece to the connection puzzle that is going to keep them there. Because here's the thing, this business is all about relationship building. Every single aspect of this business is about relationship building. From the moment you start to like their comments, get in their stories, you are relationship building. And so what I found is when I started to get on the phone with people, they were sticking around longer because I was able to say, and I'm going to walk through a phone conversation. So Brianna, do you have a second to be my little girl to help me with this? Okay. So all right, so I'm going to get Brianna on the phone, all right? And you guys can take notes. Like, this is exactly how I do it with every single person, you guys. All right, so I'm going to act like I am signing Brianna up, okay? So, all right, we're going through it. I'm like, okay, Brianna, you have struggled with IBS, so we're going to start you on the X, Y, and Z pack. I'm so excited for you to get started. Everyone has a different, sorry, my dog's toenails are like tapping on the floor if that's bothering you, because sometimes it gets on my nerves, but for me personally, I sign them up myself on my computer. I know some people get on the phone, are on the phone with them, and then they have them do it. It's totally up to you, but I just like to do it myself. So I know that nothing is getting messed up, that they get that order in correctly, that they're not going retail. And then once their products come in, or if they have a second, I show them, I turn around and say, hey, jump on your computer. Let me show you how to go through your order, your back office, your subscription, just super quick. It's like maybe 5 minutes after we have that initial sign up. Okay. So I say, Brianna, we're going to sign you up. 1 second. Sorry, guys. I promise I'm really not a hot mess, but it was just bedtime and the dogs are crazy right now. So I'm signing her up. And so I'm going to show you how I make small conversation that goes a long way. So I'm like, okay, what's your first name?
Brianna.
Okay, and your last name?
Bodkins.
Okay, so I went to elementary school with Brianna. So I'd be like, Collins, oh girl, like I still think of you as Collins, like moving right along. Like I literally, like just trying to make some conversation. And so then I would be like, okay, what is your birthday? She's going to tell me your birthday. She's going to tell me all of these things. And then we get down to the referral link and I'm going to say, okay, so what's really cool is, how you can get referral codes and you get, discounts and you get money back. Like for me, I always say like, there is a certain kids brand that I always purchase and my sister and I have referral codes. So we use each other's referral codes, we get money back, which is really cool because this brand is not cheap. And so every time we purchase a certain amount, we get $20 back. And I'm like, I love it because I share this with everybody because the clothes are a little bit more expensive, but this allows me to buy these clothes, but also have money towards the clothes. And they're like, oh yeah. Like, and then they'll say, I'll be like, like HelloFresh or something like that. Okay. So Brianna's like, yeah, okay, totally. And I'm like, okay, so you get your own referral code that you can share with a few friends and family. Usually people start with at least one person as an accountability partner. And then I say, who comes to mind after we've talked about plexus and gut health? And then I pause.
My mom, my sister, and my friend Lindsay.
Okay, awesome. So really quick, tell me a little bit about your mom, your sister, and your friend Lindsay. Are they like wanting to lose weight or sugar cravings? Tell me a little bit more about them.
So my mom likes to lose weight and work out, and my sister has IBS issues like I do, and my friend Lindsay has thyroid problems.
Oh my gosh, we have so many girls on our team that I feel like could totally share their story with your 3 people. Okay, do you feel like they would get on the phone with us after this call?
Yeah, maybe.
Okay, all right, we'll come back and revisit that, but let's go ahead and get you finished really quick. Okay, so then I'm like going through and then I flip over to the page with her birthday or whatever. Anyways, like when you do this kind of thing, you're really just trying to find different things that you can relate. Like if their birthday was last month, I'm like, oh my gosh, like happy late birthday. What did you do for it? But I'm going through this process as I'm talking, right? Like I'm going through. And so, Yeah. Okay. So you're asking the question, but are you signing them up yourself or letting them be in control of the sign up? I am signing them up myself on my end, on my computer. And then when we get done, I always say, hey, do you have an extra 5 minutes that I can show you how to navigate your back office, or I call it like your account? And they're like, sure. Or if they're like, no, I'm like, okay, great. Well, when your products come in, let's just hop on the phone and I'll walk you through it. And so that is usually either or. That's how I do it.
I was gonna say, and sometimes honestly, like if they don't want to give me their info, I'll just walk them through it.
Yeah, yeah, of course.
Yeah. It's kind of either or, honestly. Because sometimes if you like sign them up yourself, like it's easier because we know we can get through the process a whole lot faster, because when they do it and you're walking them through it, like they mess up or they like skip a step or whatever. So a lot of times it's just so much easier for us to do it. But I do it while they're on the phone. And like Andrea said, like I'm asking them about their kids, like what they do for work, what their schedule's like. And then that way it helps me know too, when their products come, how to get them, like regulated with their products.
Yeah, exactly. It's really like that you can see what all goes into, and I can sign someone up within 15 minutes, but if we really get in conversation, it might be a little bit longer, but I mean, start to finish 15 minutes. And that's relationship building. That's telling them how to take their products. That's setting expectations. That's asking if they're good at drinking water, and all this happens inside a conversation. So while we're talking, drop your fear. If you do not get on the phone, what is your number one fear, or why are you avoiding the phone call? So as I am talking to Brianna, I'm signing her up, and I am going to ask her at the end of the conversation, we're going to revisit those people. Okay. And so I'm going to ask her, hey, Brianna, I know you were telling me about your mom, your sister, and your best friend, how they could use these products. Could you start a message with us right now? And I just pause. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Right. And like,
Erin, oh my gosh, Erin, I was the person who literally would not even call to like schedule a doctor's appointment. I hated the phone that bad. Like I was that person that like could not handle any phone conversations to do anything. Like when people called me, and like this broke me out of my comfort zone. And I think I told you all not too long ago, like Andrea did the first few with me. And then she would get on the phone and kind of like sit quiet and just be there for help. Like, and I would do it, but she would be on the phone with me. So that helped a lot too.
And that's exactly what I'm doing with my brand new girl. I just helped her sign up her second person. I did the first one, and then she is doing the second. I mean, she's doing all of them now from now on, but I told her, I said, I will get on 3 or 4 more calls just so if there's anything that goes wrong or whatever. But it just like, if you're like, oh, like I hate getting on the phone, but the thing is like, I'm going to be honest. Would you rather go ahead and just suck it up and get on the phone and keep those people on, or work really hard to get those people? And that is a greater risk of having them drop off because you're not going over those things. And I just feel like in a world where we literally could live without talking to each other and not even blink an eye, like it's so nice to get on the phone. Like it really is. And Brianna, and I used to tell Brianna, you have like, Brianna was super coachable, all the things, but I knew she hated to get on the phone. I'm like, you have got to, like, this one thing you literally have to do, because it really does set the tone, and it separates you from because when I feel like sometimes when I sign people up and just like say, walk them through, I just miss that huge connection. And I feel like I'm just like, here's my link, like have fun, because most of the time it's really, you're going to find those people are the hardest people to get in touch with. Those people are the ones that are not taking their products consistently and might not message you back. Yeah, like you said in the business, if you aren't uncomfortable, then you aren't growing. Yes, it's so true. And you will get more comfortable with it if you are just like, oh, I hate talking on the phone, it makes me nervous, or I'm afraid they're going to ask me a question that I don't know. I want you to get that out of your head and just really lean into not knowing, not thinking you have to know everything. And that's kind of what I'm really trying to teach my new girl right now. I'm like, you don't have to know everything. That is why I'm here. And that is why your sponsor's there. Like Brianna and Heather still come to me, right? Like I go to them. Like it is a one happy family. Like you will, I mean, I feel like if you're constantly growing and learning, like you're going to be asking, always be asking questions and things like that. And so don't ever feel like you've got to know everything, like know all, the insides and outs of everything. And so getting on the phone is the first step, because look at all of that conversation that I just had with her. And so then I'm going to ask her, why, when we wrap up, I'm going to say, okay, so I'm so excited for you to get your, I'm just going to say triplex, which I would never recommend, whatever. Triplex. I'm so excited for you to get your triplex. You know, this probably going to come in about 2 to 3 days. It's really fast unless something crazy goes on with the shipping. You know how COVID's been. And then I will go into, you know, just a few other questions. How are you with drinking your water? And they're like, oh my gosh, girl, like I just cannot get my water in. And I'm like, okay, so here's what we're going to do. What is the like best time of day for you to focus on water? Because some people will be like, I'm just at work all day and da 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 da. And so if I'm like, okay, if it's in the morning time, like when if you have an hour and when you're getting ready, you can totally down 32 ounces in the morning. If you have an hour from the time you get up to the time you go to work, you can get down 32 ounces. So you're almost like, you're already down like 32 ounces. That's awesome. So I'm going to try to work in with them. You know, is it the taste you don't like of water? Like just the plain taste. Okay, here's some options. You can add some lemon in, you can add some fruit in, like, you know, grab some of our hydrate. This is a great way to do a plug for the hydrate. Like, okay, like you aren't great at getting water in, maybe we should add hydrate to your bundle. And just talking about the importance of when you get started, you're going to want to have that water intake, because when your body gets introduced to new products and you might go through detox, sweating, peeing, and pooping, and hydration are the sure ways that you're going to detox correctly, right? And so that is a really important step. And then I tell them, okay, so let's talk about where you're going to keep your supplements when you get them, because I want you to be as consistent as possible. And this is really important. So, and I use okay, so if they're like, I'll keep them, you know, in my cabinet. I'm like, okay, so is that the first place you go in the morning? Because when they get them, I want them to have a place where they can say, you know, if the first thing they do is brush their teeth, wash their face, if they're in their bathroom for like the majority of the morning, right when they wake up, then I'm like, hey, grab a cup, put it beside your sink with your toothbrush, have your supplements sitting out. And that's when I want you to take your morning supplements. And then at night, I ask them too, like let's plan out a place where you can put your like nighttime supplements. And so I make sure that I have a plan for them, because when I check in with them, and they're like, I haven't been consistent, then I can go back and say, okay, I know we made a plan to put them beside your bed, like your nightstand. You know, are you like not setting them out, or, you know, what? And so I can go back and revisit that. So it's just really important to have all of those questions asked. And that way you guys have a plan to go in together. Sorry, I've got my little assistant down here. And so after we get done doing that, I tell them, I'm like, hey, I'm going to welcome you into our community page called Rise Up Village. And you're going to shout them out. You're going to make a graphic. This is something that you want to do right away, because they are so excited to get started. And so you want to make sure that you go ahead and create that graphic. It doesn't have to be, you know, anything crazy, but create that graphic, shout them out immediately in Rise Up Village, welcome them into the community. And let me tell you this, if you see a welcome post, don't scroll by it. Don't just give it a like it and just welcome them, right? Because if that was your new person, or if you were that new person in that community, you want to feel that love. So just don't scroll past that. Just, it takes a millisecond, I think, to just say, welcome, exclamation mark, welcome. Like that is huge, right? And plus this creates community. Even if it's not on your team, this creates community for your other people that are on your team, right? And so then you're going to get them into the team page, and you're going to welcome them on the welcome post. Okay. That is at the top of the page under announcements, and you're going to welcome them. And so it has, I think it's like 7 steps to success. And so what I like to do is walk them through that. There's a few videos in there that go over detox, that go over the perks credit, and then it goes over getting started. And it's a Brooke Hemingway video. And so I just love I will take that Brooke Hemingway video and I will put that into a message, and I'll say, hey, you know, I know while you're waiting on your products, I know a lot of people wonder, you know, when is when will I start to see results? When will the Plexus products really start to work with me? And then I'll say, here's a video from my friend Brooke Hemingway. She explains the process, blah, 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 check it out. And then I'll check back in with you tomorrow. Or if it's like, if it's a night, I'll say tomorrow or later on today, and we can discuss kind of if you have any questions. And so I do that right after, like probably like a day or so after they have ordered. And then the day of, and I'm going to have this all in a PDF. But the day of, I make sure that they know about their perk credits, right? So when you sign them up, make sure that they know why the subscription is important and that they have a subscription on. You guys, nothing is worse than someone getting ticked that they don't know about their subscription. And they're like, I didn't know this was going to be a subscription. And then they stop, right? Because that is 30 days in, because right now I'm seeing a lot of 250 and 350 perk credits on the perk reports. And that tells me that people are quitting within their first 30 and 60 days. And so you want to make sure that you are expressing to them that they have a subscription. Now, who feels confident talking about the subscription? Drop a 1 in the comments if you feel confident, drop a 2 if you do not. Because if you are like, I used to be, this was when I first started, I used to be so timid about the subscription. They'd be like, is this a subscription? Like, this was when like subscriptions weren't really that big. And I'd be like, oh yeah, but you don't have to keep it on. Like I would say that. And I'd be like, oh my God, Andrea, like the subscription is good for them, because that means that is implying that they are staying consistent. And so now I'm like, oh my gosh, you have a subscription. Like I get excited about it, because honestly, I'm excited that I have a subscription to my supplements, because mom brain right here would probably not remember. I have diapers on subscription, you guys. Like my whole life is probably a big subscription right now, because I'm like, I don't want to have to think about it, right? Like just show up at my door and I'll do the things that show up at my door. And so it's like, that's what I always tell them. I'm like, my whole life is on a subscription and I love it because it keeps me consistent. I know that I have to take these supplements because I have another order coming, and consistency shows results. And so I let them know that they have a subscription, and when they signed up with the welcome pack, they automatically get 250 perk credits. And then I'll say something fun like, this month I redeemed my perk credits for collagen or whatever it may be, just to kind of give them an idea. If you know that maybe they're wanting weight loss and they couldn't afford the bigger bundle, maybe you can dangle in front of them like, oh, the lean shakes, like this month I, added on the lean shakes or the MetaBurn or something like that for them to look forward to. And, you could say, usually you can redeem those around month 2 or 3. For being consistent with a 100 PV order. And I always say that is the bundle that you'll be totally fine, because that's the bundle that you are started on right now is 100 PV. And so I just make them aware of that. And so tag them in our team page, tag them in that post, welcome them, and then get them in a 3-way with your sponsor. Get them in a 3-way with your sponsor, you guys. It is so important to connect them to your upline, because what if, for say that they are going through detox and you're like, I have no idea how to handle this. I'm not sure what to do with Sally. And you bring Brianna in and they're like, I don't know freaking Brianna. Like, I'm not going to tell her that I'm pooping my brains out. Like, I'm not going to do that. And so if you would have introduced them before, it would be an automatic, like feeling comfortable and being like, hey, this is Brianna. You remember when I introduced you guys in the beginning, she's going to help out. And so, yes, when there's an issue, it's too late. And honestly, the girls still put me in 3-ways with all of their girls, even at Emerald and Sapphire. So it is so important just to have that connection. And plus it's like an extra layer of support just to be like, hey, welcome to our community. I'm Andrea. And I really try to just get to know them and say, why did you start Plexus? What did you start with? Did you love the taste of the pink drink? And then usually that's also a really good way to ask them to shout their friend out who got them started if they already haven't asked that, right? And you could just be the reinforcement and be like, oh my gosh, so I'm sure Brianna already told you that most people get started with a friend. Has anyone come to mind? Ask them that. Get that already, that thought in their brain, like, okay, I need to find an accountability partner. And then plug them into a Pink 15. An opportunity call, something that we have going on. Plug your new ambassador, the new ambassador calls, you guys. Plug your new ambassadors into the Monday night lives. Make sure, because here's the thing, when you sign people up, that's not your job actually just started when you sign them up. And so it is like your job to be like when you think about when you go to Chick-fil-A, do you not just love the people at Chick-fil-A? Like they are just like bomb customer service. Like every time I leave there, I feel like I'm just in a better mood than when I came. Like I'm like, you guys are so nice. Like everything I could ever think of, you like hit it right on the head, just super friendly, very like, I feel like just very like, I don't even know what the word is, but they're very detailed. And I like that about them because they are always like checking in, making sure like, hey, did you get all your sauces and blah, blah, blah. And that's how I want us to be like hey, we did have a Chick-fil-A guy come in and train us at Leaders Retreat. And so it's like, they know what they're doing. And I want you to take your business serious and think, okay, what if this person, because usually you're going to find your business builders and product lovers. If they love their products, they're going to be more likely to share. And maybe you ask them to share right away and they're like, no, I'm okay. Sometimes people say, I just want my own testimony. And I always cover that objection with, listen, people are going to be, more interested in your day 1 than your day 40, day 50, day 60. They're going to want to see your journey. And you're simply saying you just started something new and you're excited. So, ask them again, would that be okay if I just sent you over a little something to share on your Facebook and I will take care of everything. And so that's when we're going to move into kind of getting them to share. But first, does everyone know where the follow-up system is in Rise Up Village? Put a yes or no in the comments. So we have, okay. I was getting nervous. So just one yes. Okay. I'm getting really nervous. Yes. Okay, Joyce, I know you know, girl, you've been with us forever. I need to see some of these new people say yes, that they know it, or no, that they don't. Okay. All right. I'm going to share my screen really quick so we can go over this because this is a huge part of your business. A very big part of your business is the follow-up. And that is when they get their products, you are going to be checking in with them. And that is one of the biggest ways that you are going to keep your retention rates at a good pace. Okay. So I'm going to share my screen really quick. And let me know if you can't see it. Okay. Can you guys see this? Is this our rise? Okay. All right. So you're going to go to guides. So by the way, here is our welcome to our village. This is our welcome post. Okay. And so, oh, whoops. Oh my goodness. 1 second. All right. Okay, so under guides, you're going to find our follow-up. So I have it week 1, week 2, week 3, and week 4. Okay, so if you are unmuted, would you mind to mute yourself, please? Okay, so we have the 10 points of contact in the first 30 days. And so this is kind of what I went through on our Zoom the other day. And so you are going to day 1 of order. You're going to let them know what to expect. You're going to send over the getting started graphics. We don't have any currently in Rise Up Village, but we are getting some made that will be in there, but you can find those in the One Plexus graphics. And if you are unsure, please go to your sponsor and ask them. Day 2, you're going to send them the Brooke Hemingway video. Day 5 is product arrival. You're going to say your products are here. You're going to be so excited, you guys, when their products arrive. And so what I always tell them is I'm like, you're going to get 2 emails. You're going to get one that is a confirmation email, and then you're going to get a second one when your products ship. When your products ship, you're going to have a tracking number. Look to see when your products get or are supposed to arrive. Please let me know. And so I always write down in my planner, like 2 days out from when they ordered, to message them if they haven't messaged me yet and say, hey, I'm so excited. As you can tell, I wanted to see, if you have gotten an email to know when your products are going to be there. That way I can put it in my calendar to make sure to follow up with them on that day to make sure they got their products. Okay. Because there's nothing like you forgetting to follow up with someone and it's been like 4 days and they've already gotten their products and maybe they've started and maybe they haven't. Okay. And so, the product arrival, you're going to be like, isn't the pink drink so good? Kind of getting into a conversation flow of that. And then after you get into that flow, you're going to ask them, you're going to be like, you're going to check in with them on day 8 and you're going to be like, hey, listen, are you getting into a good routine? How are you with drinking your water? Okay. Getting into a good routine. They tell me yes. And I say, because getting into a good routine can be different from each person. Getting into a good routine can be for one person completely ignoring what you sent them and going rogue and taking the supplements as the bottle recommends, and that's not good. Or they're taking less than recommended, and that's also not good because they're not going to feel results. And so you're going to say, okay, awesome. So just so we are on the same page, how many of each are you taking? And so I always want to ask that. And so in week 1, you can find questions to ask in that first week. And usually, you guys, I follow up twice each week out of those 4 to 5 weeks. Just because I feel like once a week is just not enough, especially when they're first starting. You want to make sure, hey, Ashley, have you gotten your products yet? I'm so excited for you. If they have received them, how did you like the taste of the pink drink? Tell me what you thought. Send dosing recommendations, a video toolbox explaining the products they're taking. And so, if they're taking the triplex, if they haven't already watched the triplex video, you can send them that. So then you move into week 2. Are you getting into a good routine? Obviously, do not send all of these questions in one text message. Break them up, be conversational with them, right? Converse with them and say, I would say, hey, I just wanted to check in on you. Are you getting into a good routine with your products? And they're going to say, yeah, I feel like I am. Okay, great. Do you feel like you're taking your products consistently? And how many of each are you taking? I'm going to ask them that. We're going to talk about that. And I'm going to say, that's awesome. I'm so excited that you feel like you're getting into a good routine and you're taking them consistently. I know you're going to start to see small wins soon. One more question. And then I'll say, ha ha ha, like hashtag 21 questions. And then I'll be like, are you drinking enough water? And they'll say yes or no. And then we go from there. Okay. So then my second check-in is going to be something to the same thing, like, hey, how are you doing? Just another check-in. I wanted to see, how that water intake is going. And if you are going to the bathroom 2 to 3 times a day, tell me about your bathroom visits. And because we want to know if they're pooping too much, too little, especially if they're on the triplex. Okay. And so I usually break this up into 2 check-ins. Week 3 and 4 are really important. These are the weeks that they are probably going to be going through detox. And so you want to make sure that you are checking in and asking the right questions, not just, hey, how are you doing on your products? Good, or crickets. Okay. And sometimes you might get crickets. And when I get crickets, I say, hey, Brianna, I know that we talked in the beginning and I told you that I was going to be checking in with you each week, that we were going to be besties. And the only way that I can help you and you have success is if you communicate with me. I know life is busy, but it just takes a simple, quick text to let me know how you're doing. And so I set that expectation. I'm not like, I don't start to think, oh my God, she hates the products, she's quitting, like all these things. I know people are busy, and honestly, people are not used to people loving on them and checking in on them and wondering how they're doing with the products. And it's like shocking for some people. And they're just like, it's different, but we want to stand out and be different. And so in week 3, you're going to say, hey, Ashley, I wanted to ask you if you've seen an increase in your sugar cravings. So I remember reading this and I'm like, why would we ask them if they had an increase in their sugar cravings or if they noticed that they were getting more tired? Like, what? So you ask this because as they're going through detox, they could feel like super fatigued. They could have a headache. They could be craving more sugars because those toxins are being released into their body. And so obviously their body is trying to keep them safe. And so it's having their body's having a reaction to the toxins being broken up. And so some people will be like, yeah, I've been like super tired and I definitely have been craving more, sweet things. And I'm like, okay, that is totally normal. And here's what we're going to do. You can increase their ProBio 5. So if they're taking, 1 ProBio 5 and they haven't increased to 2 yet, go ahead and increase that to 2. Maybe they're on 2 and you increase that to 3. It really just depends on their health goals. Also too, I let them know if they're like, no, I'm not experiencing any of that. I'm like, that's fine. That's totally normal too. Some people experience some die-off symptoms. Some people don't. But I just wanted to make sure that you are still drinking that water and you are taking your products consistently. So I'm going to break that up into 2 check-ins. And then week 4 is going to pretty much be a little repeat of week 3, but you're going to check in and say, I'm so excited that you're feeling so good. What are a few small wins that you could share with me that you've seen, right? And if that is just like the tiniest thing that maybe they haven't had coffee in the last month. Do you want to celebrate every single small win? Like they just lost 60 pounds in a day. Like you want to be like, oh my gosh, that is amazing. Like I can't tell you how many people would kill to not have to rely on coffee every single day. Like make it big, because honestly, it is big. And one thing I forgot to mention is when they get started, have them write down all of the things that they're experiencing, because a lot of the times when you start to feel good, you forget how bad you actually felt. Like you might forget that you were popping ibuprofen, 3 or 4 times a week, or that you had to have something sweet every night after dinner, whatever it may be. You might forget those things. And so have them write that down and say, oh my gosh, let's go back to your list. Like, are any of those things gone? And, really celebrate those little things. And then this is where I ask them, if they told me no in the beginning, this is where I ask them to make a post. And yes, I'm going to ask them to make a post again, or maybe just to send a couple messages to a few friends. And I'll be like, I know so many people that would love just to have some natural energy like you're feeling right now. Would you be open? I know that you said you didn't want to make a post in the beginning, and I totally understand that you don't want to work the business, but I know that you have friends out there that could definitely use these products. Would you be open to doing that? And if they're saying no, I'll ask them, what are your hesitations? Are you afraid that, people might make fun of you? Like, I'm going to go in and just ask and uncover those types of things, because it could be as simple as like, oh, my friend does plexus and I didn't want her to see that I went with someone else or whatever. And then you can go into, okay, that's fine. Well, why don't we just message some people, what 3 people come to mind? And try to get them and try to help them, and then I go immediate. If they tell me someone, I'm like, let's get them on the phone. Let's send a message to them. Let's send them a quick text. Can we get them in a 3-way? Hey, we have a pink 15 this week. Why don't you and your friend come to the pink 15? Do you guys see what I'm doing? I'm creating that vision of how easy it is just to get someone to join. Be like, hey, we have a pink 15. It's 15 minutes. It's a few of my friends sharing their stories about plexus. I personally think you would love to come. And then why don't you just invite your mom, your sister, and your best friend, like you told me on the phone? I know we haven't been able to get a hold of them. This would be such a great thing for them to come and join. It's 15 minutes Thursday at 8:30. Okay, so you're inviting them to have an experience somewhere inside the community. And I think that's really important, and to invite them something to feel a part of something. They don't have to want to work the business to come to a pink 15 or an opportunity event. You're simply casting vision to have success on their products, casting vision for a potential business builder. Okay. So if someone comes to you and says that they are having detox, if you feel totally inadequate to handle detox, I want you to go to your sponsor. I want you to go to your sponsor. I don't want you to handle it on your own. I want you to go to your sponsor, and I don't want you to ignore that message, right? I want you to say, hey, Brianna, this girl is going through detox. I'm not sure how to handle it. I would love some help on this. Can I throw you into a 3-way? And you're going to tell your friend Sally, you're going to be like, listen, Sally, I just started, or Sally, honestly, I'm unsure how to address this, but my friend Brianna has been doing this for 5 years, and I know that she can help us, and she'd be happy to help us. Can I add her in here? Guys, honesty, just be honest. You're not a medical professional. You're just their friend who started these products, and you're not meant to know everything. And so I think that's refreshing to a lot of people. Okay. Also too, this is a really great video that explains detox and kind of what happens in your body as your body is going through detox. Okay. We have a couple of these, and then we have some really great posts in Rise Up Village that you can also tag them in, and you will find them. Hopefully this doesn't take me out. No. Okay. So I feel like it's so different on the computer because I can't find anyways, you guys know where there's like hashtags and stuff. I don't know where that's at here, but there's hashtags that you can find on your phone. I can see them on my phone, but it'll say like detox or testimonies. And so you can go through and tag people, or you can even use the search bar and type in detox, and it'll bring up a lot of posts that discuss detox and testimonies where people have overcome detox. And so especially, I know those weight loss people really kind of freak out when they go through detox because they might gain a little weight. And always tell them like that, for one, I always encourage them to get off the scale. If you're a big scale person, please step off the scale, because those numbers are going to fluctuate. No matter if you're doing plexus or not, you're not going to be at the same number throughout the whole entire day. So get off the scale, and when your body goes through detox, which it might, you're going to hold on to some water weight through that detox process. But once you're done, that water weight is going to come off, and you're going to see, your inches going down smaller, and your water weight, all of those pounds you're not going to have all of that. Right. And I just really encourage them to be patient. And so that's why I really never start anyone with weight loss on the triplex unless they are like gung ho on getting their gut healthy, like all the things. And I love the healthy, or the like weight loss advanced pack, because it has the triplex and then it also has the weight loss aspect to it as well. So make sure you're handling the detox. And then let's go ahead and pop in. Actually, let's see. How many of you guys were on the gold and senior gold back office call? Drop a one. Was everybody on that? Because I'm not going to do that again if everyone was on that, because we trained basically. I think everybody was on there, us going through the back office and stuff, right? Some of you guys know. Okay. Let me just open up my back. Does everyone know how to check for credit card declines? Yes. Okay. Push outs. Where do you feel like maybe with the retention part of checking in when they have a credit card decline, do you guys feel confident with checking in on a credit card decline? Or does it make you feel uncomfortable when someone's card is declined and you have to go and ask them? Okay, so here's what I say whenever someone has a credit card decline. I always just go in and say, hey, Amanda, I was just going through my Plexus organization, making sure everyone's orders went out today. And I noticed that your card was declined. If you're like me, you probably got a new card and you just need to update it. Can I help you get that updated? And so I address it that way. And I always offer, and I know like Brianna probably, she said she just addressed this. And so it's usually not a money issue. It's honestly that they either, what I'm seeing right now is their cards are getting like hijacked. A lot of people are having to get new cards and stuff. And like, so, have compassion and be like, oh my gosh, I cannot believe like I'm so sorry that your card, got compromised. When that comes in, let me help you get started. And so I'm going to put them on my calendar to follow up with. And I'll say, when do you think you're going to receive that new card? That way I can get in contact with you and help you get it updated. And that is just professional, you guys. You're not bugging them. You're not being too pushy. That is professional, because I have actually had several people come to me and be like, I never got my Plexus order this month. And I'm like, okay, like what? And their card was declined. And that's kind of embarrassing, because I'm like, oh, like I could have prevented that by just going to them and helping them get their card updated. Another thing is your perks report. Okay. This is something that you want to check every single day, because new people are going to be on there every single day, right? People who turn their subscription off will be on the perks report. Okay. They have 3 days to turn their subscription back on with 100 PV before they lose all of their perk credits. Okay. And I always reach out to them and just say like, hey, Brianna, I was going through my Plexus organization today and I noticed that your name was on our perks report. I'm not sure if you're familiar with it. Are you? And if they're like, no, what is it? And then I explain to them, I'm like, it's our rewards program for being consistent on your products. Right now, it looks like you have about $65 in free money to put towards a product. So I personally don't say 350 points, because that doesn't really speak, to them. It's usually usually $10 for every $100, give or take. Doesn't have to be like right on the money. But I go to them and I tell them, hey, you've got this. Like, what, if they're turning their subscription off, I'm like, did you have too much product? Have your goals changed? And so by asking these questions, you can maybe get them started on something else. And you can say, why don't we just use it? If they have like 600 perk credits, you can say, let's get you started on a new bundle and let's add some other products in that you've wanted to try. What are some other products you want to try? The collagen, that's a really great, a great add-on. A lot of people get collagen with their perks. And so just making that known that you just do that every single morning, it will help your business and retention. And so retention is when you keep people on. Attrition is when people start to fall off. And so you want to have your retention rate high. You want to have those people to stay on, when it is like a known fact that if you can get someone past 90 days, they will be with you for a very long time. But if you are feeling like that your people are falling off between 30 and 60 days, it's either that you're skipping the phone call and you're not explaining and setting expectations and making them stick to them, as far as reminding them about that conversation that you had with them on the phone, saying, I make sure that when I'm on the phone that I'm laying out all expectations, that I am saying everything that I possibly can to them for when they give me, I just can't stay consistent. I just whatever. And I always make sure to tell them, can you commit to 90 days? Can you give me 90 days? And if they're like, yes, when they on that 60 days, when they're like, I can't just do this anymore. And I will say, Brianna, remember our conversation that you told me that you were going to be sticking with this for 90 days. I told you that I would be your accountability partner, and I'm not going to let you quit. What is it? Why do you want to quit right now? Is it your product cost? Is it that you're not seeing the results that you thought you would see in the 60-day mark? Asking those questions can help you. If it's the money, ask them to share, ask them to grab 3 friends. If it is the results, then talk to them about what their expectations, because I think that's another thing to talk about on the phone, or like, okay, what are your expectations for these products? What do you want to see? And so if it's something unrealistic, like losing 20 pounds in a month, then you can say, hey, that is unrealistic. But what I'm sure is going to happen is you're going to start having less sugar cravings. You're going to be sleeping through the night. You're going to have less inflammation, and all of those things work towards weight loss. Okay. And so let's start to celebrate the small wins that will, monopolize into bigger wins, such as weight loss. And so that is honestly the basis of getting your people started, making sure they have good customer care. And then the duplication, which I'm going to be quick, but the duplication part of it is when they start to share, whether that be through a post, whether that be with a couple friends, the next step is you're going to offer them help. When they make that post, you're going to say, listen, you don't have to communicate and the information or anything. That's what I'm here for. And I'm going to help you the entire way. And so if your friend, Michelle, is like, hey, what is this? Just tell her, hey, I'm still learning. And this is how you're going to tell your new people, right? You're going to say, tell your friend, Michelle, that you're still learning and that you're going to add me in there because I've been doing this a little bit longer than that. I'd be happy to answer any questions she had. And so does everyone know what the exposure process is? If you do not, it is a file. Or actually, I believe it's under guides too. It is a guide of the conversation. It's not under there anymore. I did clear out a bunch of, underneath files. Okay. So I'm about to upload a brand new document of the exposure process. I'll do that tonight. So you can look for the new one under files, but it is how you go through a conversation flow of if someone says, hey, what is plexus? Because a lot of the times we can get super wordy and it starts to become about us, and you don't intentionally mean it to, but you can be like, okay, so you'll just like spill your journey and why it's so great. And then it starts to get to like, almost like you're convincing them to try the products, but you just simply want to be there to give them the information. And then you let them decide ultimately. Okay. So they're going to ask, hey, what is plexus? And you're going to say, that's a great question. Plexus has, a gut health, inflammation, balanced blood sugar based products that focus on that. What are your health goals? That will help me grab information that is more specific and that you will understand. And so they tell me their health goals. I say, okay, great. I have a quick 2-minute video to explain that. And that is usually the triplex video, guys. I don't recommend the triplex hardly ever, but that video to me just highlights the potential health goals of fatigue, sugar cravings, hormone balance, like all of those things. And so I asked them, I say, when can you watch this video? And I never just send the video without asking, when can you watch the video? Okay. Or, hey, do you have a free second to watch the video now? If they say sure, I'll say, okay, great. Let me go grab it. I will go and grab the video and I'll say, I'm going to watch it with you. I love this video. I feel like I learned something new every time. Even after 6 years, I never knew how much gut health played a role in how I'm feeling today. I'll check back in with you in 3 minutes. So I'm going to know that when that video is over, that in 3 minutes, I'm going to check back in and say, hey, what did you think of the video? What did you resonate with? And then some people are going to say, oh my gosh, the bloating part, the sugar cravings part, the weight loss part, I have Hashimoto's, like whatever it may be. And you're going to say, thank you so much for sharing that with me. That helps me to grab the right bundle recommendation for you. One more question, or how are your bathroom visits? Are you on any medication? These are also important things that factor into what I'm going to recommend. They tell me that. Then you go straight into recommending a welcome pack. You're going to say, my recommendation is that you start with the Slim, Active, and Ease. And then you give if you go into guides under price verbiage, that is exactly how I give my pricing. Some people do it differently, but some people ask if, I know Heather's mentioned the other night that she doesn't go right into pricing, that she asked, do you feel like you can benefit from this? I personally just go right into pricing and I say, this is the triplex. The Slim helps you balance your hormones, sugar cravings, gives you all natural energy, probiotic detail, BioCleanse detail. This pack is originally $175, but it's on sale this month for, $109 plus shipping and tax. Next month for these 3 products, it's going to be around $119. How does that sound? I want to go ahead and address that next month's pricing. That way, when it comes next month, they're not like, oh my gosh, I didn't expect for it to be $119, because you guys, you want to make sure that you're signing up people that are going to be around, that they're not going to view this as a 30-day commitment, that they know that the expectation of them sticking around for 60 to 90 days. And that comes with a subscription and obviously a price. And so if they're like, oh no, like that's not, whatever, then I simply tell them like, hey, that's totally fine. If you're like me, maybe you need a little more information. And then I funnel them into an event that we have. Hey, we have a Pink 15 coming up on Thursday. Would you be able to attend that? It's 15 minutes of my friends sharing their stories. And you get to learn a little bit more about product information. That is why the follow-up is so important. And so there's always a next step. There's always a next step. Unless they're just flat out like, no, I do not want to do this, then you respect that. And then you go right back into relationship building with them. Okay. But if they say yes, then I ask them immediately. I'm like, hey, I'm free right now. Can you hop on the phone? Or, hey, I'm free at 5 o'clock. Are you free then? You want to set that time. You always want to ask a question while you're going through that conversation. You'll see that flow is always a question. If you say, just let me know, 9 times out of 10, they're not going to let you know. They don't have anything to respond back to. You're not bouncing that ball back in their court. So if you just leave a blanket statement and you're like, well, they never got back to me. Well, they don't have a reason to, because you didn't ask a question. And so it's so important to always think about a question that you can ask them. Okay. So after you do that, that is the meat of how I feel like the basics of getting started, of having good customer care, of knowing how to lead a conversation, knowing how to help your people. And that is going to go for the same. That exposure process works for all aspects of your business. If anybody has had a 3-way with me, you guys know I don't stray from that. I really don't. I either send the video or I will send a testimony, and it is quick. And the point of the exposure process is, and I will never forget Emily Gibson saying this, is keeping them in your car. Like if you are having an active conversation, you want it to be quick. You want to have them while they are active on social media. So say I start a conversation with Heather and I'm like, Heather's like, what's plexus? And then we're actively talking. And so you want to have this flow where it's ball in Heather's court, ball in my court, ball in Heather's court, ball in my court. And then you want to have that hook at the end of saying, okay, well, I recommend, because when I first started, I would be like, well, when do I get to that hook? Like, when do I, ask them if they want to do this? But with this flow, it's like, there's no like talking about like getting off topic and being like, oh yeah, girl, like my kids went to stop. Like you can have that brief conversation, but it really keeps it in line and it keeps you in the driver's seat of the car and you are in charge of that conversation. And so by asking those questions, by keeping it short and simple, people don't need, most of the time, 98% of people do not need a buttload of information to get started. They need to know that their friend, who that is you, believes in it. They need to either read a testimony, and you can go grab those out of Rooted in Health, or our team page, or, you can literally type in plexus and whatever it may be on Facebook and find something. They just need to read that it's worked for someone else and they need to know the cost. And that is the simplicity of it. It really is that simple. And then, you might have your greens that are like, okay, I want to see, those are the people that love to look and research and all that. And then that's when you can go and grab a product information sheet. But then you also make sure that you tell them, hey, don't just go Google these, don't just go Google the ingredients, but here's a credible resource called pubmed.com. You can go and research them on here, because these will give you actual research-based information for those ingredients. And so anyways, that is pretty much the basics of how you will always run your business, right? Like with your own spin on it. But that's how I do it. That is how my good friends who are diamonds do it. That's how my good friends who are emerald do it. Like rubies do it. It's just this, these are the basics. These are the basics that are taught in network marketing for customer service. Yes, every company is going to have it different, but you guys, if you can master these, if you can get really good at retention and loving on your people, you're not going to have to work as hard. I'm saying as you don't have to be hungry recruiter, right? Because you're not going to have that bathtub business. And I say a bathtub business is when you recruit a bunch of people or your team recruits a bunch of people and they don't know jack about, following up and, how important it is for customer service and being there. Because I know I said this the other night on the Zoom is like, if you're signing people up, it's your job. Like as soon as you sign your first person up, you don't have a choice to opt out. Like that is your responsibility, whether or not you want to work the business or not. And so that's why I always tell people, if you don't want to work the business and you don't want to help people sign up, then don't do it, because it's not your sponsor's responsibility. Okay. It is your responsibility to lean in and learn how to do it. And that's why I always make it really clear is when I'm signing people up, if they want to work the business, if they are gone silver, and I feel like maybe they're not wanting to follow up and things, I always set that expectation right then. And saying like, hey, I want to teach you how to follow up. Is this something that you want to do is learn how to take care of your ambassadors? And if they're like, no, then I set that expectation. Okay, well then maybe let's, I'm happy to, take those people under my wing and help them and things like that, because you don't want to be taking care of a team of 50, right? Of 50 level 2s, 3s, and 4s. And so I just feel like having that at the forefront and learning to really just take care of your ambassadors, it would just be like, how would you want to be taken care of? I know personally, this is a lot different than buying a lipstick, buying a legging, buying makeup or anything like that, because, although I still would follow up, but this is a little bit different. They need handheld in the beginning. You want to make sure that I feel like if you feel like you might be over contacting them, obviously don't contact them 3 or 4 times a week, but two times a week in their first 4 to 5 to 6 weeks. I mean, I go well into the 60 days because I want to make sure that they are feeling good and that they're going to reorder on that 90-day mark. So do you guys have any questions? No? Okay. Well, I appreciate you guys so much being here. Okay. So Heather said, if you have someone sharing and wanting to work, then it's important to do things and show them how you would want it done. Teaching them from the get-go will say that, guys, it is so true. It is so true. So what she means is you enroll somebody, and if you're slacking on following up with them, or you're just like kind of like half in, half out, and then they get a business builder, or they sign someone up, guess what they're going to do? They're going to take 6 days to follow up with them. They're going to follow your lead. And that's just with anything in this business. Like if you're signing people up, you want to make sure that you're on the Zooms that you need to be on the team call, because you can't expect your team. If you've got someone working, you need to be on the team call. You need to have your face showing. You need to be that example, right? Because that shows them, okay, this is what I'm supposed to do. I know that Brianna and Heather, if I got on every Zoom call and my screen was turned off, guess what they would do? Well, Brianna has her screen off right now, but that's not a good example. She always has her camera on. But, they would think, oh, that's fine. Like Andrea never has her camera on and she never has to whatever. And she makes great money. So I guess I can do that. Right. But it's not, it's showing up. It's showing that, you are, showing your face and you're intrigued and you're learning and, you're eager and all those things. And that's really going to be inspiring for someone, because you want to set the tone for your own business. And you do. I don't set the tone for your business. You set the tone for your business. As soon as you sign someone up, that is the tone for them. Okay. So just keep that in mind. I am so excited for each and every one of you guys on here. I appreciate you guys taking the time out of your evening to come and hear me talk and just train on something that I'm super passionate about. And that's customer service, because I truly take it super serious. Our team, I want everyone to feel like they have the top-notch customer service inside my team, because it is just something so important. When someone invests $100+ in something, I want them to feel loved and taken care of. I never want someone to feel like they are not being heard or followed up with and things like that. So, all right, you guys, let's crush it. It is almost the middle of the month. We have so much time to do so many amazing things. And I just appreciate you guys again taking an hour out of your Tuesday night. So thank you guys so much. This will be recorded and we'll post it in YouTube. Bye, guys.